Right. Hello, everybody. Uh, today we're going to be obviously the past couple of days you guys have been working on like individual Latin American leaders going through that. Today's just kind of a wrap up day. If things are going according to plan, I'm not going to be here. I have a outside of the district meeting. So if you're seeing this, then yeah, that's where I'm at. So anyway, you're gonna be watching this little lecture, and there's an exit ticket that I have attached to it. Your quiz for the unit. So today is basically just kind of wrapping everything together. All right. So Latin American revolutions. So again, we talked about the South American Revolution is going to start beginning. That was really the whole purpose behind your guys' project that I had you guys work on and present on was looking at one of the revolutionary leaders. And as you guys have learned, hopefully, that a lot of them were, not all, but a lot of them were Creole-led movements. Again, Creoles were, again, they had some wealth. They had status within Latin America and South America. They did have education. They were educated back in Europe, mostly in Spain. And then they also were inspired by the Enlightenment with the old cliche, the old saying, liberty, equality, fraternity. So think about that. The Creoles, they were the second rung down. So you have your peninsulars that were on top of that triangle that we talked about a couple weeks ago. The peninsulars were Spanish born. They had the ability to have high-ranking government positions. They had high-ranking military positions. They had the wealth. They had the land. They had the most power. They were numero uno. The Creoles were step beneath them, and again, they weren't treated as equal. They were kind of seen as second-class citizens compared to the peninsulars. Again, the Creoles they did have wealth. They actually had it pretty good compared to a lot of other people within Latin America. Um, so compared to the Mazitos, the mulattoes, the enslaved populations, Native Americans, they did have some wealth, but again, they didn't like that. They always resented the mistreatment they got. So though Creoles they had Spanish blood in them. Um, they were born in Mexico. The true Spaniards never really looked at them as quite as equal. So hence the term liberty, equality. So the Creoles are going to fight for that equality that they have wanted throughout this process. So these nationalistic ideas, after centuries of being controlled by Spain or by France or by Portugal, after centuries, you start having these movements of nationalistic pride where they want these foreigners out. And again, the Creoles are going to lead that movement because essentially, for guys, you understand that although the Creoles had Spanish blood and Spanish ancestry, but a lot of them were born in Mexico. They were born in these Latin American countries, and they developed friendships. They developed some married into like locals. Um, this nationalistic pride of being intense pride for your country and your local area is gonna start overtaking, and they're gonna want to start kicking these foreign groups out, like the Peninsulars. And it's all gonna kickstart, guys, when Napoleon took over Spain. So when Napoleon took over Spain, a lot of these local colonies in Latin America, they may have had some loyalty to the Spanish Bourbon King. Well, once the Spanish Bourbon King, the Bourbon family, once they were ousted by the French, at this point, this is going to spark the revolution, where now these Latin American countries don't have any allegiance to Napoleon. They don't have any allegiance to France. So now is in really kind of in a way, if Napoleon's attacking Spain and kicks out the Spanish king, it's kind of the perfect time where the Spanish government is in turmoil. Their military is in turmoil. There's chaos that's happening back at home in the motherland. So if you were to cause your own revolution, they have so much going on over there, they might not be able to get to you. So this is kind of where they kind of find the perfect opportunity to really spark that. Um, so anyway, and one of the guys you guys should have learned about and talked about was Simon Bolivar. Simon Bolivar was one of the greatest generals within, South America. He's probably the most well known that you probably heard of before. You may have heard before, and obviously one of your classmates presented on this. But Simon Bolivar was known as like the George Washington of the South. A very fierce general. He liberated. His dream of liberating South America countries, freeing them from their oppressors and foreign countries was something that he always, that he always dreamt of doing. So Venezuela was the first one that he's going to help spark the independence movement and gain their independence in 1811. Although it's not very successful at first, and he will be forced. So again, talking about trials and tribulations with adversity, he's going to be exiled twice because he's a wanted man by a lot of these foreign countries. And yeah, he's gonna go into hiding, but ultimately, he didn't quit. He kept pushing. He kind of built his following and his underground movement. And in 1819, he beat the Spanish army, him and his fighters, and they will gain independence in 1821. So yeah, so again, you see these pictures here. I'll show it to you here. Even to this very day, all throughout South America, you see statues, you see libraries, you see street names, you see statues in all schools, all over the place for Simon Bolivar. So even to this very day, although this happened a long time ago, he's still somebody who's celebrated today, like a George Washington, like some of our early leaders, that helped gain the freedoms that we have today. And then you have Jose de San Martin, again, somebody else he was also presented on. He is going to gain independence for Argentina in 1816, 1817, and then finally he will work through Peru. Basically what's going to happen is Jose de San Martin and Simon Bolivar are going to team up. They're going to join their forces. Their armies are going to converge, join together. And again, Bolivar was kind of different. Bolivar, his ultimate dream was going to be to try to unite all of Latin America, create one big country, based an alliance against all the foreigners. That never came to fruition, but anyway, that was the hope. All right, so now going to Mexico. Again, this was also presented on by you guys. So again, as I said before, the class system is going to dominate South America. Mexico has more ethnic and racial groups compared to South American countries. But one of the guys who's going to take the reins is Miguel Hidalgo. Again, you guys should have had some background on him already. One of the groups already presented on him. But he makes his first cry for independence in 1810. He's going to go to the city center. And he's going in Dolores. And this guy, Father Hidalgo, he is a priest. He's going to ring the bell, and he's going to get a bunch of people who are going to join him. And he is also referred to as like the father of the Mexican independence movement. Did make several mistakes, as hopefully you learned about that in the other presentations. But he had a history of challenging Spanish authority within Mexico. And one of the things that really was his rallying cry was the peasants, the peasant movement within Mexico. He kind of helped fuel that against the peninsulars. Now, one of the things that was maybe his Achilles heel that maybe didn't do so well was that he really never gained the support of the Creoles, which was a very important class to gain the support of. But we know one of the things was like the peasantry, the poverty that was going on. He really appealed to them, the true Mexicans. Again, the Creoles weren't true Mexicans according to him. They had the Spanish blood. So again, although he was the father, he's the one who's going to kickstart the movement. He will be killed, as you guys can kind of see on this on the slide here. He will be found. He will be captured. He will be killed in Mexico. So unfortunately for him, he will not see the movement through. He'll be killed before Mexico truly gains its independence. Again, as I said before, you see this here. The Creoles in the Spanish army didn't like the idea of a lower class movement. So the Creoles team up with the Peninsulars and with the Spanish army. Again, the Creoles, although there was some independence movements that was starting to kind of breed within their blood and their minds, ultimately they felt that Father Hidalgo was too dangerous, that he wasn't going to include the Creoles within his system. So although he dies, he gets captured and killed, the revolt and the rebellion does not end. Somebody else will take the reign, as we'll see right here. Jose Maria Morelos. He is going to, same thing as Hidalgo. He's going to keep it like a peasant revolt. He's not going to include the Creoles. But again, just like Hidalgo, Morales will be defeated by the Creoles in 1815. And then finally, in the 1820s, finally, after Hidalgo and Morales are killed, the Creoles will finally jump on board, and that's when they will kind of begin their movement within Mexico to go against Spain. But again, it takes a while. And that will be led by Augustin de Iturbide. Again, this was not a part of your guys' things. So this should be a new name that you guys have not heard of before. But now he was the leading Creole of that class that is going to put things in motion to start the rebellion against Spain. And ultimately, long story short, he's going to lead a successful independence movement, and that's why he'll become the first leader of an independent Mexico. Now, part of that deal with Spain to kind of end part of the negotiation or treaty was that he was going to, make Mexico a monarchy. The Creoles and Peninsulars would have equal rights, and then they agreed to be a part of the Roman Catholic Church. But yeah. And then finally, last but not least, the Brazilian independence movement. So you have there was really no bloodshed in this. It's kind of odd within power exchanging hands. But yeah, this was a peaceful exchange of power. The Portuguese king is going to escape Napoleon. Remember the Peninsular Wars that we talked about under Napoleon? Well, the Portuguese king doesn't want to be captured by Napoleon, so he flees, he leaves, and they go to Brazil. Again, the Creoles play a major role again. They petition for independence from Portugal, from the king, and the leader's name is Dom Pedro. Should sound familiar to you guys from that project. And the Portuguese king is going to agree to give power peacefully to the Brazilian people. So again, this was weird because there was no bloodshed. It was basically a peaceful transition of power within the Brazilian independence movement. All right, so anyways, that is it. So hopefully you guys copy this in your guided notes. And what you're going to be doing for the rest of class, and if you're seeing this, I'm probably out. You're going to be taking an exit ticket, and then, yeah, we'll wrap up for the rest of the period. So hopefully that should be about it. All right, have a great day.